Hi, this is Kevin from the Heroes, Villains, and Sidekicks show. Now, this isn't an actual episode. What I want to do is I want to talk about something you may have noticed, and that's our name change. Yes, only after one episode we have changed the title of the podcast. And the reason we changed the name of the podcast is because I royally screwed up. See, I like to build things. Furniture, websites, prop replicas, that type of thing. I like to build. So I got caught up in building the site, the podcast, the logos, because I've always loved podcasts. I've been listening to podcasts forever. I love comics. I've been reading comics for, over 30 years. So I got a little bit too caught up in that. Now, I posted the first episode. I set up the RSS and let it fly. And it was then that I noticed I forgot to do the most important thing. And that was to check and see if there was already a podcast called the Heroes and Villains Podcast. And of course there was. Now, as I was in the process of changing things, I've got a really polite and friendly letter from the man who does the Heroes and Villains Podcast. I informed him that I was changing the naming and that would be done that weekend. And it was. Saturday, it was all set up and completed. So we are now the Heroes, Villains, and Sidekicks show. We're going to be looking at heroes and villains and sidekicks throughout the comic book universe, pop culture, movies, all kinds of things. We're not just going to be limited to comics. So if you've listened to the show, I hope you continue listening. It was, literally a stupid mistake and one that I fixed. I want to apologize to Bruce and any of his listeners for any confusion. And I want to thank the 2 reviewers on iTunes for their 1 and 2 star sarcastically spot-on reviews. Again, there was nothing malicious in this. It was literally a mistake. I really enjoy doing these. I've got some really interesting ideas for shows coming up. So if you do, check us out at heroesvillainsandsidekicks.com.